tension throughout the other lashing lines, which means there's definitely friction through these holes. So all we have to do while Sierra's tensioning it is kind of pick one of these lines. I like to pick one of the two middle ones and just kind of pull them tight, and that equalizes all that tension throughout all the other lashing lines. So go ahead nice and slow, Sierra. And you can really see when I pull and let go, stop for a sec, it allows a lot of tail to come out. So I don't know if that makes sense. All right, go ahead, nice and slow. Okay, stop for a sec. So that's really nice and tight. That's about the tension I want. Maybe a tiny bit more. Go ahead, a little bit more. That's good. There you go. That's nice. I'm gonna look up the mast and just make sure everything's nice and straight and yeah, in the direction I want it. All right, so that's pretty much, I'm good, thank you. That's pretty much the tension we need, that's perfect. But now we wanna hold the tension in these lashings while we release the tension on the tail and then use the tail and kind of secure the lashings. But we're gonna secure it even before we need the tail. So we're gonna use just this thin piece of Dyneema that I got from Kraken Structures, and he just spliced an eye in each end, and we're gonna luggage tag it around the middle. We're gonna do 20 wraps around the lashings, and then we're gonna turn into the frapping knot, so that's just cinching it real tight through the middle of the lashings. You guys will see that. So we just finished the shroud frapping knot. We have 20 loops around and then 2 really tight loops through the lashings and then 2 more with half hitches in them. Super, super tight. So that's gonna hold all our tension in the lashings while we release the tail. And then I'll secure this very end with a little piece of Velcro. I'll get up nice and close on this sucker. You guys tell me if you see any of the lines slipping through as I release. So you'll see it move a little, but no lines should be slipping through there. So all that tension is released off the tail now. Pull it through here. So now what do we do with the tail? And this is the way that Colligo recommends to finish off the lashing anyway. So a lot of that part was a little bit different from what Colligo recommends because we have a bigger boat and we need to get more pre-tension in there. So we had to use a shroud frapping knot to hold that tension in the lashings while we release the tail, and now we can secure the tail. But if you have a smaller boat, 30 feet or less, and you can probably, like I did it, and you can hold a lot of the tension just by holding these lashings by hand. And if you do that, you're probably able to finish off the tail how they recommend, which is like this. And that's just going with a half hitch here. And you want to do it, they recommend going 1/3 from the bottom. You don't want to go up any higher than 1/3 from the bottom because you want to close off this. You want that hourglass shape, and the closer you are to the bottom, the more of that hourglass shape you're gonna get because you're closing off that angle of the lashings even tighter. So we'll go pretty close to the bottom there. That's about 1/3 down. And we're gonna do a half hitch. And now, I don't know what you call this, but it's pretty much just going through the same space you just went through. And we're gonna do it 2 more times, so. 1, and this is what gets this tail really tight. So there's 1 that wasn't even that tight, but this last one will really get it nice and tight. There we go. Ugh. We'll use our marlin spike hitch to really cinch that up. that's tight and secure. And that's the way that Colligo recommends to secure off your tail of your lashing, and that's what holds all the tension in there. Now from there, all we're gonna do is keep doing half hitches in the same direction, and that'll create that nice, pretty spiral, and it'll help clean up the tail, and it'll help secure the lashings. It'll also help protect the lashings from any chafe, maybe from a Genoa sheet or jib sheet or whatever. And then we'll just secure the tail of this lashing line with just a Velcro one wrap. Nice and tight there. There you go. That's how we do our lashings with our Colligo Deadeyes, and I think the only one disadvantage of doing it that way, how I attached it up here, is that, check it out, because we were using the soft shackle and we pulled straight from this corner, it kind of just tilted our Terminator a little bit. It's not completely even. I don't think that's gonna be a problem at all. I think after one sail it'll kind of straighten itself out as the pressure equalizes throughout the whole thing. But there you go, that's how we do it. I'll invite John from Colligo to comment below. Maybe, hopefully he can, and maybe he'll have some critique on the way I did this, or correct me on anything I might have done wrong, or something like that. So hopefully he will find the time to be able to comment below. And yeah, there you go.